So, what your name is?
I'm Emily Onabane.
Where are you from?
From Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Born in New Orleans. I had a restaurant in Baton Rouge 3 months ago. I sold it to be where I am right now.
What brought you here?
I'm gonna say the mother, you know. I was in Belize. I've been protecting the water for a little while now, just in different places and different countries, different states around the country. But here at Sacred Stone, I was in Belize, and I got a call from the mama. The mama said, it's time to come home, and if your mama calls and says, come home, it's time to come home.
So you got here in Sacred Stone last Friday, you said, or last Saturday?
I've been here off and on since July. And, but yes, I got here last Friday night and came out right here, right behind us. We walked in solidarity across these fields and out to where they're putting down the pipes. DAPL security met us, and the police brutally and very forcefully used their force to stop us from walking.
You were part of the group of over 100 people that were arrested this past weekend?
Yes, okay. I was. And, you know, I've been to a lot of actions, and I've seen a lot of police officers stand for what they're standing. And this one was very intense. They definitely were using all of their force, and they arrested over 125 peaceful protectors. You know, I can't even say we were doing anything other than just protecting the land by walking on it and praying while we were walking. This is where our ancestors are buried. This is very sacred land that we're on, and we were walking across it praying to stop this pipeline, this black snake, from coming through sacred land. And they stopped us. They arrested over half of the people on the land, and when we got there, my biggest question to these officers this whole time is, what are you standing for? I can tell you what I'm standing for. Life, water, the next 7 generations, our children, our grandchildren. They didn't have an answer. They would just stare back at me, and my booking officer, actually, he stopped, and he just looked at me in the booking process, and I was, you know, I found my opportunity to ask him, what are you standing there for? And he looked at me and he said, I drink water too. And I said, yes, you do, brother. And he went on to explain to me how this would be his last shift working for Mandan County Sheriff's Office, and he turned in his badge that day because he said he made an oath, but he did not make an oath to do what he's doing to peaceful people. We are humans also, and he said, I am here to protect the people, not to arrest the people who are protecting the people. And you know, that's a very powerful message, is we are all standing, whether they're standing on that side or we're standing on this side, but we're all standing for the people.
Can you describe the treatment at the jail? There was reports of people being strip searched and things like that. Were you strip searched?
Oh, I was very much strip searched. It was very, they violated our human rights in almost every way that they could, and you could just see it in their eyes that they didn't care what they were doing here and now. They care about what they're doing here and now, because they can get this done really quickly and then worry about what they did later in court, or by the repercussions of what they're doing. But in jail, it was definitely, they had 27 women in a 3-cell area, and we were all refused to give us blankets and mats until late into the night, and we had been there for over 12 hours. It took them over 10 hours to feed us, hours until they got us water. We were all handcuffed in a small confined place for hours, and there was no compassion for human life in there. It was truly, they were not looking at us like we were humans. They were looking at us like we were something they were told to do. And that was one of those things that point has to get across, because we are humans fighting for every single other life on this planet. You know, every day I wake up and I think about the children. I think about the water and the next children of children's to come. And I don't want my children to ever have to go through the type of brutality that I went through.
Absolutely. Just one more question about the jail experience. I guess two questions. How long were you held and what were you charged with?
I was held from Saturday around 11 until Monday around 11:50 at night, at the last possible minute that they could have let me go. So 2.5 days. I was charged with citing a riot and criminal trespassing. Both of which, the riot part of it, DAPL, they have a deadline, and the only way that they can get excused from their deadline is if there's an act of God or if there's a riot. So they found their loophole, and it won't stick up because, the only riot was the police officers running at us with mace and shotguns, and their force was the riot. We were in their prayer, The charges are all allegations, and none of them will be able to hand up because we have the media, we have this is the time and age where we can stand up for ourselves because we all have a way to show what's happening in front of us.
Any last message you'd like to share with people at home who are watching this unfold and just uncertain how they can support or be a part of it?
We can all do something. We can all do something, no matter how big, no matter how small. Every day I wake up and fight for you. It is time for you to look at what's happening and not just your everyday, because we're in a very, very intense time right now, and it is that time for everyone to unite. One person can't do this. It will take unity. It takes community. There are things that you can do in your community. There are things that you can do by reaching out to your elected officials. There are things that you can do by donating. But it is that time for you to do something.